Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, boxing fans. So this has been a video I have been waiting to make for a while. As you can see by the title, man, I'm going to be talking about Shakur Stevenson in this video. So, I did a video earlier about Terrence Crawford and Madrimov. Well, yeah, the Terrence Crawford and Madrimov fight. So that video should be up before this one. So if you want to, you can go check that video out. But I was in a boxing mood. And I was like, man, what else can I film? What else can I talk about? Then I got to thinking about Shakur because I watched the interview when he was ringside at the fight. So Shakur has been getting a lot of hate. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was one of them too, originally. I didn't like Shakur. And this was my thing I didn't like about Shakur. Like, I always looked at him, I would always see him on his interviews, and he would always be talking trash, or not necessarily talking trash, but just saying that he feel like he's the best fighter in the world. He's better than this person. He's better than that person. And I was like, man, that's arrogant. But then I got to thinking, hold up. That's confidence, bro. Like, I wouldn't think that any professional boxer is putting all this time into the gym to willingly believe and say that these fighters are better than me. So it's like I had to kind of check myself and be like, you know what, man, I really respect that. But then I seen the results that he put in the ring. A lot of people say he's a boring fighter. A lot of people say he run. Like, I did a poll on my channel. I posted a poll and I was like, who do you guys want to see as Gervonta Davis's next opponent? And I had Lomachenko, Devin Haney, a rematch with Pitbull Cruz, and I had Shakur Stevenson. And one of the guys commented on my poll and said, why? So we can see him run. So I was looking at a Terrence Crawford interview, and he was being interviewed by Andre Ward, and they were talking about Shakur. And they was just saying, like, what you thought about the fight. And, Terrence Crawford was like, man, I thought he did his job. He went in there. He was hitting and not get hitting, and that's the whole objective of boxing. A lot of people, like I said, once again, it's like this new age, or I ain't gonna say this new age, but a lot of people that claim to be boxing fans and boxing experts, they tend to relate knockouts with success or how good a fighter is. And it's like, and that's not saying that they're not good that's not saying that if they're knocking people out, that they're not as good. They just getting by with knockouts. And I'm not saying that because you got Tank, who knocks out a lot of people, but he's a very technical fighter. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of people try to put, especially when you're dealing with the Shakurs, the Tanks, the Haneys, the Ryans, everybody want to throw that in there and say, well, he doesn't have knockout power. So one thing I have to say, okay, so these are three things. So Shakur came into boxing as a featherweight. So he went from a featherweight to a lightweight. And it was the same thing I was saying in that Terrence Crawford fight, is that he's going up in weight. So you can't expect the power that he had at featherweight to transition up to lightweight because the guys are bigger. And then you got to take into consideration the guys who's fighting at lightweight, they're probably cutting down to come fight at this weight. So they're probably cutting and dropping down 2 weight classes to come fight at lightweight. So it's like, come on, man. But I took my precious time with this, and I wrote down a couple things. And I want y'all to stay here, and I want y'all to listen. If you're a boxing fan and you want to know a little bit more about boxing, most definitely stay here and listen. And if you're a Shakur hater and you think that he's a runner, you most definitely need to stay here and listen. All right, cool. So I wrote down 4 little things. Let's get them to them. So the whole goal in boxing is to hit your opponent more times than they hit you, while avoiding getting hit yourself. Some say that the best defense is offense and that you should try to be a step ahead of your opponent. Here are some tips for hitting and not getting hit in boxing. And here's the thing. Skill is not defined on standing in the middle of the ring and taking an ass whooping. If you're going up against a guy who's a power puncher, who's a power puncher, why would you play into his strengths and stay right in front of him and be a stationary target? You know what I mean? It's all about lateral movement. It's all about creating angles, to lead to offense and putting yourself in position to be able to hit and be able to avoid being hit. So one of the biggest things is position. So try to be in a good position to hit your opponent while avoiding getting hit. I just said that yourself. For example, you can try slipping a straight shot and pivoting to create a new angle of attack. I just said the same thing with angles. This is the technical side of boxing that a lot of people don't know nothing about, the ones who say people like to run. So another one is read your opponent. Pay attention to your opponent's movements and try to anticipate what they might do next. For example, if your opponent seems likely to throw 2 consecutive hooks, you can try weaving twice to give yourself more time to react. And this is some technical stuff I'm gonna show y'all right here. So if you guys remember in the Gervonta Davis the Tank and Ryan fight. I don't know why I keep saying Gervonta, but in the Tank and Ryan fight, you remember in the second round where Tank dropped Ryan. So if you guys remember, if you're familiar with it, if you see the fight, Ryan threw 3 hooks in a row, 3 hooks. So he threw 2 originally. And the third one he threw, before he threw it, Tank was looking at him smiling when he threw it. And Tank ducked up under it, came with the hook, and it dropped him. You see what I'm saying? But that's because of what? He's reading his opponent. He's seeing what he like to do. You know, and that's those are defensive, the defensive minded guys. You know, because boxing is not just about hitting. It's all about it's techniques, you know, from parrying, it's from slipping. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's not, you don't just stay in the middle and be on the center line and y'all just go until one of y'all eventually drop. It's a technical sport that a lot of people chooses to not either understand or don't give a damn to understand. They just want to see knockouts. You know what I mean? And knockouts are cool. Knockouts are, you know, we love to see them. But that doesn't mean that doesn't make a great fighter just because he can knock a person out. You can knock a person out if you can catch them with a shot that they wasn't expecting coming or they didn't see coming. So then the last one is protect yourself. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up, elbows in, and chin down. You can also try rolling to your dominant or lead side to get under a punch and then counter. Defense, counter. Some fighters also recommend straining your neck and shoulder muscles to help minimize the force of a punch. So I did this just to let you guys know, for all the people who say that Shakur Stevenson runs, that it's a technical aspect of boxing. You know what I mean? It's a very technical aspect of boxing. If you go look at Floyd Mayweather, if you go look at Pernell Whitaker, if you go look at you look at a lot of these fighters, you know, from the past, a lot of legends from the past, and a lot of the fighters from this era that are technical fighters, you see the defense within it. You know what I mean? So it's not about standing in the middle of the ring and slugging it out and see who's the last man standing. It's about this is a chess match. I'm gonna hit you more times than you gonna hit me, and in the process of me hitting you, I'm not gonna take any damage. You know what I mean? But then also, too, defense leads to offense as well. You know, understanding how to slip, understanding how to roll, understanding how to catch. You know what I mean? So those are all things that you need to start paying attention to. Don't just look at a boxing fight just to see a knockout. Look at a boxing fight and observe the fighters and see, okay, let me see which one of these guys are the more technical fighter. And granted, when you're dealing with good knockout power fighters, you know what I mean, they can knock out more fighters that was technical than them. Prime example, if you go look at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder had, you know, some of the worst technique in the world, you know, that we've ever seen from a heavyweight champion. But at the same time, the power was there. So the power, it made up for what he lacked in those aspects. But when he ran up on a fighter who was more technical and skilled than Tyson Fury, you see the results, you know. So that's all I want you guys to just look at it, and not just look at it for knockouts, and not just say he ran the whole fight, and actually watch the fight and pay attention to it. Because I think a lot of people just say things because it's popular to say it, and it's easier to say that Shakur Stevenson runs than going to go educate yourself and see how he actually, what does he bring to the table as a fighter. But as you guys can see, that is it for this video, man. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, share it if you want to. Also, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, if you're watching my videos consistently and you haven't already subscribed, when you subscribe, click that post notification bell. That way you be notified on all things Raw Sports Center. Because just like the GOAT Drizzy Drake say, I'm coming back to back with these videos, man. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out this thing. Peace.